let's go and jump into a name that Jaron actually coined. We're going to call it a nerd nostalgia. And we're going to talk about Ghostbusters 1984. We are going to go full spoilers because you have not seen this movie. The joke is literally on you. So to summarize this, after the members, oh my God, after the members of a team of scientists lose their cushy positions at a university in New York City, they decide to become Ghostbusters to wage a high-tech battle with the supernatural for money. They stumble upon a gateway to another dimension, a doorway that will release evil upon the city. The Ghostbusters must now save New York from complete destruction. Yes, so anybody needed that summary, there you have it, guys. Ghostbusters
What's a
OG.
Ghostbuster?
I'm just going to sum up Ghostbusters OG. There is nothing bad or evil I can say about this movie. It is almost a perfect movie in my eyes, except for Ghost giving BJs. But, some things you got to accept in life. And that's what you got to accept. That's what you got to have.
That was a dream sequence.
Yeah, it was a much bigger scene that got cut down to nothing. And also Winston. It would have been a bigger scene for Winston.
And also, Ray has a ghost kink.
Yeah. Oh, 100.
Well, once again, like I said, the only thing that could have been left out of the movie was that part. Like it does nothing for nothing. No payoff. It's no reliving of it. No mentioning of it. It's nothing for nothing. And it wasn't even that funny. So yes, once again, that's the only issue I have with this movie. It's pretty much a perfect movie. And the only other thing I think is interesting is that much marshmallow fluff should have killed that man at the end. The end. That is my review of Ghostbusters 84. A perfect movie. Fun, laughing, horror.
Funny story about that. They actually were going to do a lot more because it's like soapy water is what they used. And Ivan Reitman was like, we need to use 100 pounds of stuff. So they tested it with a stuntman first and knocked the motherfucker out.
Yes, because a feather going at 100 pounds is still 100 pounds of feathers.
Yeah.
So they did 100 pounds of bricks is still 100 pounds, even with bricks. Like, weight doesn't change but item. You would think in a movie with scientists, quote unquote, a movie with scientists, quote unquote, somebody would be like, hey, you do realize the weight's still the same, even if it's water, right? But yes,
that was funny story.
Jason, OG Ghostbusters 84. What is your review?
Yeah, I watched this again with my son on Wednesday, and this still holds up, man. This movie is still like I wouldn't go as far as say the perfect movie, but it's pretty damn close. Bill Murray's jokes, even though they're a little bit creepy because he's kind of a creep, but I think the funniest thing about this is that people recognize that he is a creep. Like, it's not like he's just saying and he just keeps talking, and they're just like, "What the fuck, dude?" And the reason you don't get a reaction out of people is because he just balls over him. He just keeps going with it, just keeps doubling down, and it's really really funny. Like, their interplay together between Ray, Egon, and Peter is just so on point. It's just so natural. It is great. One of my downsides is they don't really catch too many ghosts in this movie. They catch Slimer, and then they have a montage of them running out with ghosts being caught, but you never see them actually catch any ghosts.
Yeah.
Except for Slimer. That's the only ghost they catch.
And then he gets out.
And then also my last point of deduction is that Winston doesn't show up until, half of the movie is over. He has barely 5 lines in this whole entire movie. But when he does speak, he is very he steals the scene basically. Next, if someone asks you a god, next time you say yes. I see shit, I'll make you turn white. But most of the time he's just in the background, and but it's the 80s. Black people didn't exist back then, so of course.
Facts. Well, and also too, besides my jokes of Ghostbusters being a perfect film, if you want a time capsule of New York in the 80s, this is it. But also too, it is a very time capsule of the economic situation going on in the 80s as well. Trickle down effect is in heavy mode. Small business ownership is supposed to be on the rise because now everybody in America can make a way if you start a small business and you do well and blah, blah, blah. This movie really technically is just about people starting a small business and how difficult it is to keep and fund a small business with all the economic woes that go on around them that they have to kind of battle through because big corporations are still big corporations. But that's the one for another artsy review that we'll have.
I do
But
hate
Jared,
that the main villain is the EPA, who's just like, yo, we're just trying to make sure y'all not killing people over this shit.
Because back then, know what the villain was in the 80s from
Regulation.
Being Good? Exactly. So yes, go
Who
ahead,
cares
Jared.
if you're
What are your
giving your
thoughts?
neighbors cancer as long as you're catching ghosts and making up
right. Contributing to society through good hard work.
Oh man.
Well, yeah, this my kid thoroughly enjoyed this. I was worried that he would be like not having it, but he laughed at this whole entire thing. I laughed at this whole entire thing.
Yeah.
It's great. It stands up to this day. It's a good timeless movie. So yeah.
Jared, your thoughts? Ghostbusters 84.
Ghostbusters, yeah. I mean, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
No
yeah,
shit.
yeah. It's weird. Yeah, there's a lot of problematic. We're getting to a point in society where we're starting to call out some silliness, and I mean, starting to. And yeah, there's some problematic qualities to Bateman's character. Why does he have 300 cc's of an antipsychotic on a date? I don't know, but he definitely injected her with that Thorazine. So
where did he get it from?
Where did it come from? Did she have it? I really hope she had it, and he just kind of went through her medicine cabinet. But
why would a cellist have Thorazine?
They didn't say it.
It's a hard knock life being a celloist in New York, bro.
I know, right?
Coming for that seat. Coming for that lead
How
seat.
is a celloist able to afford a penthouse corner apartment in the Upper East Side or the West End or wherever they live? Like, that's $1 million apartment, and she's a cellist.
84
Blow jobs.
Yeah, but she was like part of the big what Phil.
They don't get paid shit.
Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I assume that if you're good,
you think
you get to a point.
Even the best fucking band in the fucking world, orchestra in the world, everybody's getting paid $1 million a year. Maybe Momo Ya.
But yeah, great movie. The beats are wonderful. The pacing's great. Harold Ramis wrangling in Dan Aykroyd's semi-psychotic original script. Really
semi-psychotic.
Yeah,
that shit was batshit insane.
Batshit insane. The Ecto one was all black and purple. They were
traveling through space and time,
jumping through space time and dimensions and shit like that. They looked future-y, kind of. I don't know. It was Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis really, really made. They're like, how about we do it in a place we know, like Earth? I'm just saying. Let's see how it works. We'll try it out real quick. See how it feels. But yeah, God, what a brilliant and storied movie. Just so many things had to go right for this to be what it is, and I am so glad that it did.
Yeah, because the one thing that had to go right is that the former head of Paramount went to Universal and had the rights to the name Ghostbusters and was allowed to let them use it
and to release it. Yeah. So many things. I've watched, I think, every behind the scenes thing where they talk about how close this movie was to just not happening, like how they started shooting without a full script because they had to meet a certain release date, and they were like, well, if we don't start now, we're not.
How they didn't even know if Bill Murray was going to even be there or not.
Didn't know.
He was like, and didn't talk to him until the first day of shooting, and there he is.
he was in France. And they were like, he was in France yesterday. I don't know if he's going to be here. And then he just pops up. Let's go.
Oh, I mean, this movie is the quintessential lightning in a bottle movie.
Yes.
For sure. Besides all that, I mean, I think it's just something to be said about you have a cool gun, some characters that you wouldn't mind hanging out with that are quirky but interesting. But like, this is one of the first movies that science is cool, but not science is cool in the sense like weird science where they made a woman, because it's like, oh, it's still perverted geeky nerds. It was like, oh, this is science is cool. Like Ray smoked cigars and drank beer and
stuff.
yeah. Egon was kind of a weirdo, but it still was like it wasn't like, oh, I can't talk to girls, or I'm just like, no, he was just focused about his science and his work. Like even Peter, for like being quote unquote the joke scientist, he still was like smarter than the average Joe Blow walking down the street.
Well, he had multiple PhDs in psychology and parapsychology.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, it's just like the point I'm getting to is that this is the first time on screen that I saw like, oh, scientists can be just normal people without like weird quirks that make them not unable to be acclimated to society.
Right.
And so you bring in Winston, who is the everyday man that we always talk about. Him joining this group of characters actually grounds them even more because he's not freaked out by their behavior. He's not even they don't make him do the whole fish out of water thing. Like, why are these guys this way? Like he just goes into it like, oh yeah, take these traps. I'll show you how to do it. And he's like, all right, cool. Like
he literally just jumps right on in.
Yeah.
Like it just integrates with them so easily. Like it's
right, because you made normal people that were just scientists. And so like people, I think for me, that's what Ghostbusters really opened up for me, was like, oh, you could just be a dope, smart ass person and still be dope. Because it wasn't these weird, quirky. Yes, Bateman was a real creep, but also you got to think that Bateman's a creep in the eyes of Dana too, because Dana's like this prestigious celloist, and like she's probably
gets paid $1 million a year.
Hanging out with prim and proper people all day to see this schlub come in and be like, oh, they hate it when you do this. Like, she knows this is bullshit. She's like, dude, how are you doing this examination and trying to pick me up? Like, that's why I made him a creep, because she felt it early on, like, dude, you're trying to pick me up and I need help because my refrigerator had a portal to another world that tried to kill me. Like, I don't need this right now. Like, guy, do your job, because
no kids.
So his creepiness is only offset by the fact that like the person that he's supposed to be helping, like, has a traumatic experience, and he's like, oh, what about dinner? Ha. Like,
you're not helping.
Right. And in a normal situation, if he was just on the streets and saw a woman and started talking to him, and like, it's a normal exchange, but because of the situation, it's very creepy, because you're like, dude, like, focus on the shit at hand. Like, stop worrying about me. But anyway, like I said, Ghostbusters, I think that's what, for me, it means that in an echelon, because again, it was the first time I got to see these tropish archetype characters but be normal human beings. And that's something to be said, because if you look through all the 80s and 70s of sciences, they're always like big old glasses, Coke bottles. Right. How come scientists can't see? Is that like a thing? Like all scientists just fucking
you're too busy looking at slides and microscopes. Your eyes are going to get bad after looking.
No, I'm just saying in general, it's TV. You can make TV anything, but all of them have the biggest glasses, and they either talk with lisp or like a hunched over, and it's
that's how you know they're a scientist.
Right. Because you have to be smart, because you know what, you can be attractive and funny and cool and be smart, which is weird because mostly every smart person is funny and cool, but that's neither here nor there. But okay.
Another thing that I really liked about it too was, I mean, I watched this as a kid, right? And things that went bump in the night and things like that still had an impact on me. I wasn't like, I wasn't wetting the bed or anything, but I was. The darkness still, still presented a bit of a problem for me. And this was a movie that depicted people that stared into the darkness and approached it with a scientific mind and bravery, and they were able to overcome all that. The scary bit, they took something that they wanted to make legitimately kind of scary, and they made it like, we can overcome this if we think it through. And I think that's something that's always resonated with me. It's something that I think of, I put people of a higher intelligence kind of, at a level of esteem for myself, because that idea of we can conquer all of our problems by thinking it through is something that's always sat with me, I guess. And that, I think Ghostbusters was the first time that kind of crystallized in my tiny impressionable brain.
And also going back to what Jason said, that they're also just regular dudes. And if you think about like the heroes of the 80s, like you have
Conan the Barbarian,
you have Arnold Schwarzenegger, you have Sylvester Stallone, you have all these muscle-bound action dudes who were the heroes of the 80s, and then you have these schlubby guys who are actually going out here and saving the world. And like that's really cool to see. It's like these are just normal dudes who use their brains, a little bit of their ingenuity, and a whole lot of sarcasm to get the job done.
Suck in the guts, guys. We're the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we're Ghostbusters.
Right. All right. I have some questions in and around Ghostbusters 84. First question. Would you guys make love to Gozer?
It depends on what her bottom is like.
Yeah.
If
She
she
got
has
kinda-
if she has a vagina, then yes. If she has a penis, then probably not. So it's probably not.
Jaron ruling on this?
You listen, that's how you catch something. So no, I don't want no interdimensional herpetophilades. No thanks.
Well, but also
Man.
here's also the cool thing about Gozer is that she can change to whatever you want in your mind. So
That's true. It's true.
that Stay Puft
She
Marshmallow
always
Man's about to
chooses
get
that
fucked.
flaky crystallis thing. So
Yeah. I mean, it adds a new ring to Buster makes me feel good.
truer words have never been spoken.
If someone asks you if you're a god, what do you say?
Yes.
Fuck yeah. Look, as Winston, as my POV character being Winston, because of we sharing the same demographics, he was absolutely right. When someone asks you or if you are a god or not, you say yes. Okay. That's something my grandmother told me. That's what my parents told me.
Right. Here's a good one for you. If a thought of yours would have manifest, a la Stay Puff, what would have manifest for you?
Oh,
God,
wow. Clear your
If I-
mind.
See, unlike Jaron, I was an absolute coward as a child. So if someone was like, "Oh, don't think of something scary," it would probably be fucking Chucky from fucking Child's Play walking down there, fucking giant ass Chucky, and I'm like, I'm not helpful in the situation, guys. I'm completely terrified.
I don't know how in the first movie it wasn't J. Edgar Hoover because you say that and then everybody
he said it like
thinks J. Edgar Hoover. But,
J. Edgar Hoover.
God, if I was trying to clear my mind and the first thing that popped in, I don't
Pussies.
know. Yeah, it'd be like, I don't know, like an attractive young woman or like a My Little Pony cartoon or something.
Japanese schoolgirl.
Yeah.
This would have been a huge waist with no underwear underneath it, with a Japanese schoolgirl dress.
And everybody like, ooh, we're not touching this. This is really problematic.
Right.
Like, we're just gonna leave. We're just gonna let it stay.
There would have been an Avatar on the loose. It would have been Aang, and he would have been fucking shit up.
All right. Well, that ends our discussion about Ghostbusters 1 or 1984.